Hello everyone, welcome to the another video of Concept X. Today in this lecture we are going to cover the fossa ovalis. Fossa ovalis is nothing but a small depression which is present at the interatrial septum. And our prime focus of this video is to make you understand how does the depression got developed in between both the atrium or interatrial septum. So what happened in the developing fetus, the heart is almost look like this, where both the interatrial septum and interventricular septum is not developed. But for your understanding, I have already drawn the interventricular septum as because our main discussion will be going on in between both the atrium and how does the interatrial septum is got formed. So what happened when our atrium or interatrium septum is developing? The first stage, there is one septum or one single sheet of muscle is continuously grow from the middle of our both the atrium towards the endocardial cushion. So what is endocardial cushion? Have you seen this kind of ovule or ovale structure? That is nothing but the endocardial cushion. So this round, half round structure, it is called endocardial cushion. So this is called endocardial cushion. So what happened in a developing fetus when the heart is in under the developed stage, during that period at the middle of our both the atrium, so this is our right atrium, this is left atrium, so it is the middle of our both the atrium, and from that middle one sheet of muscle membrane is start to grow towards the endocardial cushion. This is the first sheet. So what is the name of that sheet? The name of that sheet is called septum primum. So that sheet of membrane or muscle layer is called septum primum. It is the first membrane which grow initially in between both the atrium towards the endocardial cushion. And when it start grow, after a certain period of time, their growth becomes slow, and as a result there is almost a opening which is from in between endocardial cushion and our septum primum. It is continuously growing from the top and towards downward direction, means endocardial cushion, towards the endocardial cushion it's growing, and their growth is become slow when it almost reach about our endocardial cushion. So during that period, though their growth is not completely stopped, but slowly their gap is decreasing, and ultimately it almost leaves one gap, and that gap is called your ostium primum. That gap is called your ostium primum. So that gap is after certain period of time it is got closed. So it will become completely closed membrane. So I will now erase that gap and I'll connect the membrane with our endocardial cushion. So now our ostium septum is not, it will not present after certain period of time. So ostium primum is gone, or we can say that it is now completely invisible. Why? Because after I have already told you that growth is not completely stopped. It is growing towards the endocardial cushion, but their growth is so slow, then when it's about to reach our endocardial cushion, one gap, we can say there is a gap is almost developed, and that gap or that opening is called ostium primum. We know that. Now what happened when the septum primum is completely got connected with the endocardial cushion, another opening is got developed at the upper portion of our septum primum. Now another opening is got developed here. Now what is the name of that opening? That opening is called the osseum secundum. ostimum. Osseum secundum. So this is the septum primum. Then one opening was there. Name of that opening was osseum primum. So openings are osseum, and if it is a septum means it will be initial, will be from septum. Septum primum, openings are osseum primum, because that opening is present at our septum primum. Now question will come that this opening is also present, but though it is present at the same septum primum, we are not going to consider it is as a osseum primum, because osseum primum we already nomenclature it, and this osseum secundum, it's from when once it completely got closed, then only somehow it got developed. Means it is not occurred during the development stage. When septum primum is continuously growing, on their part of their growth, on its part of growth, our osseum primum is developed. That's why we called it as osseum primum. But here osseum secundum is developed at the back side of their growth. Means their growth is this direction, but at the back of their directional growth, this osseum secundum is formed. So that's why we will call it as osseum secundum. Another membrane will go develop here, then only you come to know about why it is called osseum secundum. But till now, main thing we have learned that first, in between both the atrium, one membrane is membrane is growth, and that membrane is come and it directly attached with our endocardial cushion. That membrane name is septum primum. Then during their growth, that membrane, when it's about to reach our endocardial cushion, one opening is formed. That opening is called osseum primum. We know that when their membrane is directly divide both the atrium, somehow another opening is formed at the upper side of our septum primum, and that opening is called osseum secundum. Now thing is, so this is our osseum secundum. Now there is another membrane which will develop at the right side of our septum primum. So this is why I am called right side, because this is the right atrium. This right atrium means this is the right side, this is left atrium, left ventricle, this is the left side. So if it is a septum primum, so its right side is this one. This is the right side of our heart. So another membrane will form here, and it will cover our osseum secundum just like a curtain, and it will come and it will almost fused our endocardial cushion. But thing is, there is another opening will be developed. Now what happened when this membrane name is, okay, I'll give you the name of this membrane. This is called the septum secundum. This is called the septum secundum. So septum secundum is developed at the right side of our septum primum, and it will come in, it will almost touch our endocardial cushion. Okay, but thing is, just like our septum primum, it not going to touch our endocardial cushion and leaving in another opening, and that opening is called foramen ovale. Now this opening is called the foramen ovale. So I'll write the name. This is called the foramen ovale. So there are various septums and various openings are there. So let's brush up the content again. So first one septum will develop in between both the atrium from the upper part of our, from the middle portion of our both the atrium and towards the endocardial cushion. So it continuously developing, and when it about to reach our endocardial cushion, what will happen? There is one opening is formed, and that opening is called ostium primum. We know that, and this is called septum primum. Now what happened when our septum primum it attached or it connected with our endocardial cushion? One another opening is formed, and that opening is called ostium secundum, and another membrane is formed just the right side of our septum primum, and that is called the septum secundum. And septum secundum is not going to touch our endocardial cushion, just like unlike our septum primum. Septum primum is developed, it continuously grow and it touch our endocardial cushion, but it is not going to be happen with our septum secundum. Septum secundum it will grow and it is not going to touch our endocardial cushion and leaving a opening, and that opening is called foramen ovale. I think this is clear. Now what will happen? Now you imagine our oxygenated blood or fetal oxygenated blood, it will come towards this direction. Suppose this is our superior vena cava and this is our inferior vena cava. So this is superior vena cava, this is inferior vena cava. From superior vena cava, our blood will come here. So as it is a fetal blood, so what will happen? It is already oxygenated. So if this oxygenated blood, it not needs to go to our right ventricle, because what will happen if any content come to our right ventricle contraction will be there, and when right ventricle contract, the blood will directly go to our lungs. But in case of fetus, our lungs are non-functional, lungs are not working at that time. When the fetal stage, our lungs are not going to be work. So during that period of their fetal development, that oxygenated blood which is continuously received through the placenta, what will happen? That blood bypass our right ventricle and it will go through this foramen ovale and it will reach to our left atrium. So the oxygenated blood is coming through this direction, though it is a superior vena cava, inferior vena cava in normal young adult human being. Our right atrium, right ventricle receive deoxygenated blood from both the superior and inferior vena cava, but it is going to be occur when that fetus is going to be take birth, and when it will going to be born. After their birth, then only this kind of mechanism will going to be happen, but till now it is inside its mother womb. So during that period, the superior and inferior vena cava will receive the oxygenated blood and it will bypass the right ventricle. So this, because why it's going to be right ventricle? Because there is an opening, so most of the blood will automatically go here, and any blood it will go to our right ventricle. When right ventricle contraction occur, as our lungs are not working, it's completely blocked, so our right ventricular, there is no need to push its content towards our lungs. So that is the reason why our all the bloods it will go through the foramen ovale, because this is the foramen ovale. We have already know this is the foramen ovale. So through the foramen ovale, our blood will go, and in between both the septum, our blood will slowly reach to our left atrium. So first entry will be there through the foramen ovale. In between both the septum it will go, move, and through the osseum secundum it will come out. So entry will be there through the foramen ovale, and it will go in between both the septum, and from the osseum secundum it will come out. So entry through the foramen ovale, they will travel in between both the septum, and it will come out through the osseum secundum, and that oxygenated blood will reach here. When the oxygenated blood reached here, that blood then come to the left ventricle, and from left ventricle what will happen? Through the aorta, when left ventricle contraction occurs, through the aorta it will directly go towards the body parts of that fetus. So this is the mechanism of your blood circulation inside that heart in a developing fetus. Now we'll discuss what is then fossa ovalis, because till now we have not encountered this word. So what is fossa ovalis? So we know this is the foramen ovale, and this is our osseum. This is our osseum secundum. So thing is, after the birth, what will happen? Both the fossa, our septum, suppose this is our septum secundum and this is our septum primum, they will got fixed, or they will fuse together like this way. This is our endocardial cushion. This is one layer, this is one layer, and they will fix each other, and they will got fused, and they will make a kind of barrier in between both our right atrium or our left atrium. When they got, this is our septum secundum and this is septum primum, and they will got connected like this way. This is septum, for example, this is septum, our secundum, and this is septum primum. Initially there is opening, so our blood is go in between both the septum through the fossa ovalis and through our osseum secundum, and after the birth both the septum is got connected like this way, and there is a depression which is present here, and that depression at the right atrium is called as our fossa ovalis. So what is fossa ovalis? Fossa ovalis is a remnant structure of our foramen ovale only because of these kind of openings. So foramen ovale, the name of this opening is foramen ovale, and this is the osseum secundum. Now what will happen? These kind of two layers, when they got fused, they left one kind of depression at the right side of our heart, and that depression is called as our fossa ovalis. So fossa ovalis is nothing but a kind of remnant structure. Remnant structure means it's a structure which is got left out only because of some kind of, we can say, abnormalities or structural defects. So it is a biological thing, but though it left a kind of depression on the right side of our heart, and that depression is called fossa ovalis, and its depression occurs only because of the fusion of our both the membrane, which is called as septum secundum and septum primum. So I hope you have the idea what is the fossa ovalis. So how blood is coming from our right atrium to left atrium, why our blood is directly bypassing our right ventricle and directly coming to our left atrium. So this is all the thing. Both the membrane will got fused together, and it will leave a depression at the right side of our heart or right atrium. and that depression is called fossa ovalis, and a depression occurs only because of this kind of fusion of our both the membrane, both our septum secundum and septum primum. So this is the concept behind our fossa ovalis. Hope you have liked this video. Thank you.